There is something especially frustrating about thin or thinning hair when you're a mature woman. You can put in the effort, use the tools, buy the products, and still end up with hair that falls flat, separates at the scalp, or makes you look more tired than you really feel. So often, the problem isn't that your hair is bad. It is simply being styled in a way that works against it instead of with it. This video is here to gently change that story for you. In this journey together, you will discover 4 simple steps that can transform how your hair behaves every single day, without needing complicated routines or a drawer full of products. You will see how a smarter cut, lighter styling choices, thoughtful drying techniques, and softer finishing touches can bring back the sense of fullness, movement, and confidence you may have been missing. Think of this as a kind, calm reset for your hair. No shame, no harsh rules, just practical guidance that respects your age, your time, and your natural beauty. So make yourself comfortable, and let's gently stop styling your thin hair the wrong way, starting today. Choosing the right cut that loves your thin hair. The very first step in fixing thin hair styling mistakes is not actually in the styling. It begins in the salon chair with the shape of your haircut. When hair is fine or thinning, long, heavy, unlayered styles often drag everything downward and make the top look even flatter, no matter how much you try to lift it afterward. A better approach is to choose a cut that naturally builds structure and support into your hair, so it wants to sit with more body even before you touch a brush. Think of it as designing the architecture before decorating the room. For many mature women with thinning hair, shorter shapes such as bobs, lobs, and softly layered crops can instantly create the illusion of thickness because there is less weight pulling the strands down. A blunt bob at the chin, or just below, can make fine hair look denser at the ends, while soft layers through the top add movement and lift without looking choppy or sparse. If you are not ready to go shorter, a shoulder-length cut with gentle, face-framing layers concentrated around the crown can help, as this creates volume where you need it most and keeps the ends from looking stringy. Another common mistake is holding on to very long hair because it feels feminine, even when it no longer flatters the hair's current texture. Extremely long, thin hair tends to separate into uneven pieces and can expose more of the scalp, especially at the part line. A carefully chosen shorter length often looks more youthful, polished, and intentional, instead of tired or weighed down. Talk with your stylist about adding feathered layers, a soft fringe, or a textured bob that works with your natural growth patterns. These details can disguise thinning areas and bring focus to your eyes and cheekbones instead of your scalp. Color can also play a gentle supporting role. Very dark, solid color on thin hair may highlight every gap, while slightly lighter tones or soft highlights can create visual depth and make the hair appear fuller. You do not need a dramatic change, just enough dimension to keep the eye moving rather than noticing thin spots. When your cut and color are thoughtfully chosen for fine hair, your daily styling suddenly becomes lighter, simpler, and far more rewarding. Instead of fighting your hair each morning, you will feel as though it finally understands what you are asking it to do. Stop overloading with heavy products. The second step to fixing thin hair is letting go of the habit of using too much or the wrong kind of products. Fine and thinning hair is easily weighed down, and rich creams, oils, and heavy serums can quietly flatten every bit of lift you worked so hard to create. Even traditional gels and strong-hold mousses, when applied generously, can cause the hair to clump together into thicker pieces, leaving more scalp visible in between. The result is hair that feels coated, stiff, and lifeless rather than airy and full. Instead of focusing on strong hold, shift your attention to lightweight volume and targeted care. Many experts recommend using light volumizing mousses, or sprays applied mainly at the roots while the hair is still damp, rather than coating the entire length from roots to ends. This approach lifts the hair where it needs support, near the scalp, without oversaturating the finer ends. A small, walnut-sized amount of mousse or a few controlled sprays at the crown, sides, and back is often more than enough. If it feels like you barely used any product, you are probably much closer to the right amount for thin hair. Conditioner is another common area where mistakes happen. Skipping it completely can leave your hair rough and prone to breakage, but applying rich conditioners all the way to the roots can collapse your volume before you even begin styling. A better routine is to concentrate conditioner only on the mid-lengths and ends, keeping it away from the scalp so the roots stay light and lifted. Tilting your head and gently working the product through the ends in the shower is an easy way to control where it goes. When it comes to finishing products, think whisper, not shout. A touch of light texturizing spray, a small amount of matte paste, or a soft, flexible hairspray can add definition and hold without that stiff, sprayed helmet feeling that makes fine hair look frozen and thin. Avoid high-shine, oily formulas on the top of the head, as they can emphasize sparse areas by reflecting light off the scalp. By choosing lighter products and using less overall, you give your hair room to breathe and move, allowing the natural airiness that makes thin hair look beautifully soft and feminine. Blow-dry and shape for lasting volume. The third step is learning to use your hairdryer and brush in a way that builds volume instead of accidentally flattening it. Many women with thin hair are used to smoothing everything down as they dry, pulling the brush straight and tight from root to tip. While this may make the hair look sleek, it also presses the roots flat against the scalp, erasing any chance of natural lift. The key is to create gentle support at the roots first, then smooth the lengths without crushing that foundation. Start by applying your chosen lightweight volumizing product at the roots while the hair is still damp, focusing carefully on the crown and the front sections where you want the most height. Before even reaching for a round brush, use your fingers and the dryer on a medium heat to rough dry the hair about halfway. As you do this, flip sections in the opposite direction to how they will eventually fall. This simple trick encourages the roots to lift away from the scalp rather than lie flat. You can gently push the hair up at the roots with your fingers as you dry, especially at the crown, to build subtle internal support. Once the hair is partially dry, bring in a round brush or a vented brush and work in small sections. Focus on lifting each section at the root before smoothing the ends, rolling the brush slightly, and directing the airflow from underneath to encourage height. Avoid dragging the brush straight down the head, which stretches and thins the hair's appearance. Around the face, a slight bend away from the cheeks can create a soft frame that draws attention to your features and keeps the style from looking limp. One of the most overlooked secrets is allowing the hair to cool completely in its lifted shape before touching or brushing through it. Heat makes the hair flexible, but it is the cooling phase that sets the volume in place. If you immediately run your fingers through or flatten the hair while it is still warm, everything you created will quickly drop. Try finishing each lifted section with a brief blast of cool air from your dryer. Then leave it alone for a moment before moving on. When the entire head is dry and cool, you can gently loosen the style with your fingertips instead of overbrushing, which can fray the cuticle and make thin hair look frizzy rather than full. With these small adjustments, your blow-dry becomes a quiet daily ritual that lifts your spirits along with your roots. Style around your face, not against it. The fourth step is to stop styling your thin hair in ways that fight against your face shape and natural growth pattern. When hair is fine, the wrong part, fringe, or direction can accidentally draw the eye to thinning areas instead of flattering your best features. For example, a very severe middle part on sparse hair can expose more scalp across the top, while extremely flat sides can make the face appear wider and the crown even flatter. Small, gentle changes in how you place your hair can completely shift the balance. Consider softening your part by moving it slightly off-center, or experimenting with a side part that gives the illusion of more fullness on one side. This not only hides thin spots along a rigid part line, but also adds graceful asymmetry that feels modern and youthful. A light, airy fringe or side-swept bang can bring more hair forward, framing the face and diverting attention away from the scalp at the crown. Ask your stylist for a soft, feathered finish rather than a thick, heavy block of bangs, which can be difficult to manage on fine hair. Another common mistake is aiming for the same volume everywhere. When you pump up the sides and back too much, it can create a rounded, helmet-like shape that feels dated and can actually make the top look flatter by comparison. Instead, focus your lift at the crown and upper sides while keeping the lower sections closer to the head. This creates an elegant silhouette that lengthens the face and draws the eye upward. Think gentle height at the top, softness around the cheeks, and tidy, not overly fluffy, volume near the neckline. Styling with your hands rather than constantly combing can also make a remarkable difference. Brushes and combs can separate the hair into precise lines that reveal more scalp, while your fingers can softly lift, scrunch, and place strands in a way that keeps the texture more natural and forgiving. A tiny dab of lightweight wax or texturizing product on your fingertips can help you define little pieces around the face without ever looking stiff. As you get used to shaping your hair around your features rather than forcing it into rigid styles, you may notice that your whole expression looks softer, more open, and more authentically you. Daily habits that keep thin hair healthier. Once your cut, products, and styling techniques support your thin hair, the final step is to care for it day by day in a way that protects its fragile texture. Fine and aging hair is more vulnerable to breakage, so aggressive brushing, tight ponytails, and frequent high-heat styling can cause strands to snap and make your hair look even thinner over time. A more loving approach begins with gentler handling, from the way you towel dry to the tools you choose when detangling. After washing, avoid rubbing your hair roughly with a towel, which can rough up the cuticle and lead to frizz and breakage. Instead, softly squeeze out the excess water and, if possible, use a microfiber towel or soft cotton t-shirt to blot the hair. When detangling, start at the ends with a wide-tooth comb or a brush designed for wet hair, gradually working upward in small sections rather than dragging from root to tip. This patient method helps preserve every strand, which is especially important when hair is already thinner than it once was. Heat is another area where a few small changes can protect your hair's future fullness. Constantly using very high heat on dryers, straighteners, or curling tools can dry out and weaken fine hair, leading to breakage and a dull, lifeless surface that reflects less light. Whenever possible, use the lowest effective temperature, and always pair heat styling with a light heat protectant product that will not weigh the hair down. Even giving your hair 1 or 2 low heat days each week, where you let sections air dry partially before finishing with a brief blow dry, can help it feel and look healthier over time. Finally, remember that healthy-looking hair is supported from the inside as well as the outside. Hormonal changes around menopause, shifts in nutrition, and overall health can all affect density and texture, and many mature women find that working with their doctor and focusing on a balanced, protein-rich diet helps support better hair growth. You may also explore gentle scalp massages, light scalp care products, and regular trims to keep ends fresh and prevent splitting. These habits do not create overnight miracles, but they do create a kinder environment for your hair to thrive in the long run. When you give your thin hair this level of daily respect, every other step, cut, product, and styling, starts to work more beautifully for you. Final thoughts. When you stop styling your thin hair the old way and shift into these gentler, smarter habits, something deeper than just your hairstyle begins to change. You start seeing your reflection not as someone whose hair has let her down, but as a woman who has learned to work with what she has, with grace and wisdom. A supportive cut, lighter products, thoughtful blow drying, and kinder daily care are all simple changes. Yet together they can make your hair feel fuller, softer, and more alive. Most of all, these 4 steps are not about chasing perfection. They are about feeling comfortable and confident every day, whether you are going out, staying in, or simply catching a glimpse of yourself in the mirror. Thin hair does not limit your beauty, it simply asks to be treated with more understanding. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe to Timeless Wisdom Path.